Welcome to Woodshop 101. This is episode 108 for November 27th. On today's show, we are going to talk about business tips for your small business. I'm Sam Wooddell of Samurai Designs, and I'm joined today by my co-host Jeremy Crawford of the Countryside Workshop, Drew Short of Rock-n H Woodshop, and our special guest, Jeremy from Jericho Home's. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It was fun having you last week, too. So we're going to go straight into the topic, but I first want to thank our patrons, Michael Brindle, Devin, Richter, Sean McHenry, Derik, Ledesma, Carl Mose, and Neil Sims. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Also, if you want to support the show, you can head over to woodshop101podcast.com/listen. Find the show notes for today's episode, and there will be links for small one-time donations and reoccurring donations. If you want to become a patron to our Patreon campaign, then head over to patreon.com/woodshop101. You can buy a Woodshop 101 podcast t-shirt and also a super sick hoodie and also some Rev marker packs. So definitely go check it out. You can go to countrysideworkshop.com/shop for the link to get your cool Woodshop 101 swag.
I'll be ordering some.
Yes, nice. So we're going to go straight into our topic since it's a short show. And let's round robin some business tips we have learned along the way for running a small business. So, Jeremy, do you want to start first?
Me, Jeremy?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no matter how hard it is for you naturally or inherently, which it is extremely difficult for me, get organized somehow. And I mean that, make plans, write your invoices, which is bizarre, right? Because, invoicing is the hardest thing for me to do, which is strange because it's the way I get paid, right? So... But it still is something that I have to actually make myself do. And it's not out of fear that people won't pay or won't like it. It's just I hate the chore of it, but do a little pre-work to get some invoicing software, something that's easy for you to fill out. If you're always on your smartphone, then find an application that you can use on your phone to create an invoice on the spot and send that. And do that kind of stuff, because estimates and invoices, because it just comes across as so much more professional and so much more polished, and people have a lot more confidence in you when you can produce the proper paperwork in a timely fashion. It really does. Otherwise, it's, you're backpedaling and no matter what you say, it sounds like an excuse of some kind. So just try to have it together in that regard. That's been the biggest jump for me. My wife is a natural organizer and I am a natural disorganizer. So it has been a learning curve for sure, but by making myself do it and become disciplined, it's been a very productive addition to my business. So
very nice.
Let me ask a question here, Jeremy. Do you use a software for your invoices and your estimates?
I do.
What do you use?
I use, particularly I have a software called Invoice to Go. It's an app that allows me to specifically use my smartphone. There is a desktop application. I don't think I've ever signed into it, to be honest. I've always done it on my smartphone or some tablet. And it allows me to, there are easily populatable fields inside of it where I can choose to put in the client and the address and the phone number and all the pertaining information, and then move on to job description. And you can make it as diverse. You can make a dichotomy between, labor and supplies, or if you just want to lay out just the cost of the job in particular and work that out. And you can add your logo into it. And so you can send an email almost immediately with maybe within 4 or 5 minutes of sitting down and typing it in. And, my truck is my office for the most part. And so I just sit there and I'll type it in and email it. And I've gotten such positive feedback from that just because it has the logo, it has that, it just looks polished and goes right to them and they're able to see it. And I have several options, credit cards or PayPal options that are built into the email that it sends, and
Wow.
I get paid more quickly, and I am able to look like a smarter person because of it. So,
is this it here?
yes, the little airplane. Yes.
So the green, that one.
Yep.
Yeah, so I used to use that. I moved away from that. It's been a couple of years now, and I can't really remember why. Now I moved away from it, and I moved to another product called Wave, Wave Apps, WaveApps.com or Wave App maybe.
Okay.
And they do the same thing. So right, they have like the
cool.
app for it to do the estimates or the invoices. I really chose to go with it because they have like my bookkeeping software all in one.
Okay.
But I have like a little app for it that you can like scan the receipts, stuff like that. So I mean, I would agree with you. Being able to do it quickly makes it more efficient. If like you can only say you have it built into word processor or something like that, and you can only do it from your computer, then at least for me, I find it like I'll put it off on the back burner. Like, oh, I can't do it right now because I do everything from my phone. Everything piece of business is always done from my phone. Like that's because it's always with me. So when I'm like sitting somewhere that at a doctor's office or something, I can go do some business stuff. Versus like I don't have my computer with me all the time, so I'm never gonna really get those invoices out in a timely manner. So.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that. I use it in my downtime to do stuff like invoicing or to just write out that estimate and send it out to people or do stuff like that because, and I've not tried that one. I don't know why you moved away from it, and I don't work for them, and they don't, they know I exist because I pay a yearly fee, but other than that, they don't. It's not like they're in communication with me, but the format a whole lot, so that gets a little annoying sometimes because I have to kind of relearn it, and maybe that's why you decided to move away from it. I don't know, but I agree with you, Hunter. I use my smartphone exclusively. I mean, it's one of the few things that I'll buy. I upgrade my phone all the time. Like I have a Samsung 8 Plus right now, and I'm about to go to a Note 8 because I want a slightly bigger phone and a bigger thing. And so I write them off every time because I am truly using it for business every single time. And so I use my phone exclusively almost. So my laptop I barely ever use. So to be honest, so.
Yeah.
Unless I'm word processing exclusive, like recently I've started typing a blog, so I've started to use it a little bit more just for the larger keyboard, but that's about it. So
yeah, I mean I moved away from them years ago, and like I said, I don't remember why. And I know they've made a lot of improvements in, and I've thought about going back to them, but to be frank, I'm lazy, and I'm so ingrained in the software I have. Like
sure,
it almost pains me to think about having to like learn something else over again. So. I know when I had them, they were really good. I don't remember why I decided to move. So, Drew, what about you? What do you do for your invoicing?
Well, I create all my invoices and proposals through my laptop using numbers. And I just have a template that's saved in my computer. I pull that template up, and then I just enter the fields that I need and save it as a PDF, and then reset my template, and I'm usually good to go after that. So I don't really think that I've used anything other than like a Word-based software like that or Excel program like that. So
with numbers in the cloud now, have you tried to do it on your phone or on your iPad? Have you pulled it up?
I've done it on my iPad.
So
I've done it on my iPad.
It works. So I mean, with technology nowadays, everything being like in the cloud or whatever, I guess that's not necessarily a bad thing because you can access it from your mobile phone or access it from the iPad or whatever device you use on the go. If you don't, you take your laptop everywhere.
Yeah.
And you said you do the same thing, Sam?
Yep. We do it in not numbers. My mom has Windows, so we do it in the Word, in Excel, so that we both can pass it back and forth. But yeah, we type it up, put in the new stuff, save it as a PDF, send it, and then reset it back to a blank invoice. And we have our contract attached to it as well. So it's nice. But I'm going to have to look into that invoice to go, because I always give them the big contract at the beginning. And then at the end, I always like to give, they have to pay their other 50% that's due. So I like to bring a receipt, and I think it would be really cool if I could just send them the last invoice via email, and then they can pay credit card or PayPal, and I'm going to get paid sooner than if it's a check. So
absolutely, yep. I
think that's a really good idea.
I'm the same way with that, Sam. I honestly, I do the same method. I used to, when I had less jobs, I would kind of pay for things up front and then bill for everything up front. But now I do 50% up front and 50%, upon completion. And it's just so easy to, and I'm sure lots of software does this. So, I'm not a spokesperson for Invoice to Go or anything, but it is really nice because of all the payment options they have. Since they've recently added PayPal, I've been getting paid a lot through. I mean, that's when I do trade shows or something like that. I have a PayPal card and chip reader and all that kind of stuff, and so I just do a lot through PayPal, and it's very easy to reconcile all my expenses and to get paid and to do all that stuff through that software. So that's something that I really like, because it's so accessible through that. So it's easy.
Yeah, that is easy. And a lot of people now are using PayPal and like Venmo, which is nice, because when I didn't have a PayPal for a really long time, and I finally set it up. And then at my shows, I would start accepting. Actually, just at my last show, I just started accepting PayPal because it was so easy, and people were like, "Oh, I don't have my credit card on me. Can I just do PayPal?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." We have the card reader, we have everything, but it was funny. I was getting a lot of PayPal, so that app, I'm gonna really look into it, because I think that would be a really good idea to do.
I like it a lot. I mean, likewise, I do a lot of PayPal. I mean, I get paid almost, I would say 90% of the way I get paid is through PayPal. So
that's awesome.
So how would they pay via PayPal at like a show?
Go ahead, Sam.
Sorry.
No,
and you just did a big show. So you just, type in the address, and then they send it straight to you, my email address. So
similar to how I send y'all PayPal stuff. I'll send it to your email address.
I mean, it's as easy as connecting to someone on Skype. You just enter in the email address, and then you can choose to pay either through family and friends, or friends and family, or you can choose to pay through business. Most of mine comes through business. What they just do is they just click pay, and they do that, and PayPal takes their pound of flesh and then moves on. I mean, so it's the way it goes. But it's all.
You can also. They also have that card reader too that you can plug into your phone if they have a card that they want to pay with. That you can just swipe right through their PayPal account.
Yep, I have that, but I also have that too. I just went to get this. I have this. This is the PayPal module. On the bottom here, it's got the chip reader. On the top here, it's got the swipe, and then I can also enter in a card number. However, they charge me more money to manually enter a card number than they do the other ways. So, but that's the same on Square and other places.
Yeah, I was just going to say Square is the same way.
Yep. So, but this little thing, this was $129 for this guy, and it is fantastic. It gets awesome reviews. I got it on Amazon, and like the chip reader has never, ever failed. When I had Square in the beginning, the reason I got rid of it was because the card reader, I had to swipe someone's card like 76 times to get it to go and read it.
Yep.
And they were nervous. They were nervous they were getting charged like 100 times, and they had every right to be, because I would have been too. This one has never, ever required me to swipe or insert the chip more than once. So that's why I chose to go with that. And it connects right to my PayPal account, and it is absolutely fantastic. The battery lasts a long time on it. And it was, I got it on Amazon. It's been fantastic. So I keep it charged up in here all the time. And I just keep it in my truck when I'm not, and it's easy to use. So.
Perfect. I'm going to look into that too.
Does it connect like Bluetooth to your phone for service, or like how does it get?
Absolutely. It does. It's a Bluetooth connection. You can connect it up to several devices at once. So say my wife, if I decided to, go to the restroom or go get something to eat at the trade show or something like that, she could just easily switch it over, open up the PayPal. It's like PayPal Go or PayPal. I can tell you exactly what it's called.
PayPal Here, isn't it?
Yeah, PayPal Here. You got it. It's exactly what it is. She just opens up the app and it connects automatically to the app. And so she can take payments and stuff while I'm gone. And then if she wants to go, all I have to do is close the app on hers and open the app on mine, and it's ready to go. It connects very easily. So and she has an iPhone and I have an Android. So it didn't have any trouble jumping between platforms. So it was really fantastic. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So we had one connectivity issue when, like, in the middle of a transaction, PayPal decided to release an update. And so it was like updating device. And it was like a big money transaction. It was like someone was spending like $1,600, and I was like, can you hold on a second? And it was and they were nice about it, and they let it go. And it was cool because, technology's like that. But other than that, I've not had many troubles at all. So.
Nice.
Check that out.
Yep, it was really good. Again, it's the PayPal reader. Now when I opened up they sent me a little PayPal swiping triangle, which I've used before also, and it always takes it the first time. Whereas again, the number one reason, the only reason that I quit using Square, and Square actually has a slightly better transaction rate. I think Square is like 2.71 and PayPal is like 2.8 or something like that. But I could not get it to take any card whatsoever. I was trying everything. I was everyone's like, well, put the card in a plastic bag and swipe it there. I'm like, this is weird. I'm like, this is too much. Yeah. But this one works every single time. So to me, I'm willing to pay the extra to have it work. So. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And it's embarrassing too. Like when you're like trying to check out clients or customers and it doesn't work and you have to type it in, and then it's like really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just makes it feel, it erodes confidence, which is the last thing you want at the point of sale. So. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. I've had the same thing happen with the that little Square dongle.
I hate that. I hate it. That's why I left.
So I have both. I have the little PayPal Here, the little triangle dongle. I do still use Square, and I hate to be with them because that's the only thing I use Square is at shows. Everything else is not done through Square. Like my payment on my website is either done through PayPal or through Stripe. And then everything else is done through like PayPal. But the only reason I still use my Square is because of the Apple Pay connectivity with it. I have the little square box that people can come up, and it's the chip reader and the Apple Pay device. And believe it or not, I have so many people that are like, "Oh, so awesome! You take Apple Pay," and if they just hold up their phone, boom, damn, you're paid and you're on the way.
Yeah. Now, one thing, again, this thing actually, it doesn't say it right on it, but again, I have chip, swipe, and then if they just hold it up to this little screen, it also accepts Apple and Android Pay, so it does near-field communication stuff too.
It does Android Pay?
Yes, it does.
Oh, see, because I don't think Square does Android Pay. I think it only does Apple
pretty
Pay.
Nifty.
I'm telling you, $129 on Amazon. It has been a super game changer for me. Like, this thing's fantastic, and I've had this thing for about 3 months now, and I am sold on it. So.
All right, well,
I just typed
the more
in
you talk
pay
about it,
and
I'm just like, whew, I gotta get it.
PayPal.
Yeah, Oh man, I'm telling you, it's easy to get paid. So that's a great way. I mean, it's a great feeling too, because and it goes so smoothly. I mean, nothing. I mean, again, I said about eroding confidence earlier. Like when they can just insert their chip and it goes through the first time, and then, I have the option whether or not to require a signature, but I do require one just because it feels a little more legitimate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they just use my smartphone to sign their name on it, and everyone always remarks, "Oh, it's so cool that you can do this. It's so neat that you can do this." Whereas if you don't have them sign, they feel like that it didn't happen. So
where do they sign? They sign on your phone?
Yep. It brings up a screen that says signature here, and the phone turns sideways, and they just use it with their finger, and it works. It's flawless. I mean, I'm sure I'll probably have.
I just added it to my cart.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have some.
Okay, so it is no longer. You said what? $120? $129.
It's $129.
Okay, it is no longer $129. It is $97.50.
Okay, I'm telling you, it's worth every penny. It is fantastic.
I'm adding it to my cart. There's so many things.
I
shouldn't have done this, because if you look through here now, there's like a fast charging cradle for the PayPal card reader, and there's like a stand.
I need that
for it. Yeah, so there's a stand. The fast charging cradle, $43, and I mean, it just looks like it's a little cradle that holds it. But there's a stand for it too, stand and charging station for and it's made by PayPal.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I don't have that, but I would like to get a fast charging cradle. The last show I was at, the Country Living Fair show here in Atlanta, it was unseasonably and remarkably cold on the last day of the show, which is the biggest day, because that's when people are making their decisions to buy things and to walk off with it and stuff. And it was like 38 degrees was the high here in Atlanta, which is bizarre. And the battery kept it was draining a lot faster in the cold than it was on the previous days. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty normal. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I've actually heard that storing batteries cold is better for them, but using batteries cold is harder on them. So it's strange. So
yes.
But,
well, it keeping them cold when they're not in use helps keep the longevity of the battery up.
That makes sense.
It's just like when you're using like your phone outside and it's cold and it's draining more. It's because the components have to work twice as hard to keep things running nice and warm. Just like any other electronic.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But yeah, so using it was burning it up, and I would have loved to have had that rapid charger. And if it's $40 now, because when I bought this, like I said, it was $129, and that rapid charger was $80. But if it's down to $49 or something you just said, then
43.
43. Okay, I'm gonna buy that tonight. I mean, because it is worth it. Because it is worth it because it is I mean, like I said, I'm not paid by them or anything, but I get paid through them. So I would definitely have benefited from that, especially on that really cold day, because I had to keep plugging it in and then unplugging it for the transaction, and that was the only inconvenience that I had. It was never a technical difficulty, with the exception of that one update, which was untimely. But other than that, it hasn't done anything since. So
nice.
Awesome. So
I know. I just put it in my cart.
Say that again.
Does it charge via USB?
Yep, USB 2.0 actually. It's the little not the new one. Like my phone charger has the 3.0, round symmetrical one, whereas this one is it runs on this one.
Like the micro USB or whatever. But the other end of the cable is the regular size USB, right?
You got it. 100%. It is.
So you can plug it in. So if you don't have power, you can plug it into like a little power bank.
You got it. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. I've got a little power block for my phone, and I was able to charge it up several times, back up to 90 or 100%. And I think my charging block is like a 16,000, whatever. I don't know what it is, but but I was able to charge it up several times. I wasn't ever without power, but it was draining quickly. So
nice.
That's just awesome.
I know.
And basically what we've kind of decided on is that when it comes to your small business, doing anything that you possibly can to make your time go more efficiently, because in a small business, basically time is money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the quicker you can do things, the better.
Yeah.
So anything to make your life easier is just the number one thing.
It is. The more seamless the transaction, especially at the point of sale, is just, it inspires confidence. It really does. So it's just, it's one of those things where, we've all been to a place where someone, we've gone to the gas station or whatever, and someone said, oh, the card reader's down, or this is this. And it's not their fault, but then you feel like, oh man, this is shady. And it's not fair to feel that way, but we do.
Yeah.
Just human nature.
Yeah, it is. And so, to have it work and to work well and to work often is a major plus, because it just makes you look more on top of it than, it just inspires confidence, like I said. And when people are looking to spend $1,000+ on something, it's a big deal to have them be confident. It is. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very nice.
This is a very competitive market nowadays. There's so many people that are trying to get into like selling tables and things, whether it be like Anna White or one of the other online sources for like pocket hole furniture. Putting that leg up and being more professional, or looking more professional, it helps people like, okay,
huge.
I'm okay spending that $600 or $1,000 or $2,000.
It is, and it's
It is a huge difference.
It is. So it's a big deal.
So I would definitely say one of my biggest advices is invest in yourself, invest in your brand up front. You don't have to come in and have the best shop with the biggest tools, but invest in the things that matter up front. Get yourself a logo. Get yourself a good business logo. Don't just go into paint and throw something together. Get yourself a good business logo that's in vector format, because that's going to help you. You can scale it. You don't have to worry about pixelation. And there's so many people out there that do it for less than $100. In fact, I found somebody that's getting into the game and is making awesome logos on Instagram, and he's doing them for free.
Wow!
Just because he just enjoys doing it, and he's trying to create a name for himself.
That's a great thing to get a hold of. Yeah.
So invest in your brand, invest in yourself up front. Do that. Get your social media in key. Maybe a website or some kind of way to market yourself online. Once you have those things invested, then it goes back to that looking professional. You go to those customers, those potential clients. You may only be selling a cutting board to them, but that cutting board may lead to a bigger sale from that family or from that person or that business. So all it takes is something small, and they come back to you and go, "Hey, can you build X, Y, and Z?"
100%.
Because you put that leg up and the leg forward.
Yep. I mean, and you said it right. A logo goes a long way. I mean, when I designed my logo and I had a guy help me out, I wanted it to look like an old school kettle brand, because I thought that was kind of cool, and it does. And the guy did a fantastic job, and I paid for that, and it was worth it because, I've never changed my picture or my logo or anything like that, but it's recognizable and it's simple, and it's something where, because, and also being able to have that printable invoice and be able to send it to someone. People, I have lots of business cards and I give them a lot of them out, but most of the time people they say, well, hold on, let me show you the invoice, and they'll get the invoice out and it has the logo and it does it. And that's where the contact information is. And so for them to be able to produce a professional looking invoice and just show their friend, oh, this is where I got this coffee table, or, oh, this is who made our dining table. And they look at it, and then, I'll get a call from someone who I've never talked to or in my life who says, oh, you made so-and-so's dining room table and we're buying a new house and we want to get a new table. And, could we talk to you about, and that's how it starts. I mean, word of mouth is still the most important, and anything you can do to generate an easier word of mouth conversation, you're helping yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah. 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
So
I would also say, don't believe in yourself, believe in your brand. Don't negotiate. If you feel like you are worth, or your product is worth X amount of dollars, then be worth X amount of dollars. If a customer wants to come and say, I only have a budget of $250, don't negotiate the current product. Tell them, be like, hey, I can't build this for $250. However, let's say I can build it with a different type of wood, a cheaper wood, or a different type of finish. Or maybe if we cut out some of these details, we'll cut down some of the labor time. Try to figure out how to make it work in their budget, but don't say, okay, well, I can do this exact same thing for $250.
no, well, you can't. I mean, I agree with you. I agree. It makes you look better to actually know someone. Let's say you know someone who's a startup who is doing, I mean, when I started out, I was killing myself. I really was. Like, my health suffered because I was doing so many jobs for cheap. And I was working all the time, late at night, through the night, meeting deadlines, doing all this stuff, making a $600 table or whatever. And, it's just not feasible. But if you know someone who's in that startup phase, who is doing that, and you can recommend, there's no shame in saying, you know what, I can't make this on your budget, but I'm not demeaning you, and I'm not trying to make this a condescending conversation. However, I have a friend who is starting out, and they are probably more capable of working on your budget, and let me recommend that to you. That still they will call you back because you gave them the information. I mean, and it's really an information game. So if I've had several people that I recommend others to, I'm like, you know what, I can't make that for that. And rather than us go back and forth on it because the answer is going to be no, let me tell you who can do maybe what you're looking for right now, and recommend them. And then you've made a friend, you've made an ally, and you've also become a reliable source of information. And I can't tell how many people I've turned down who have later come back to me because they've gotten that $400 piece that probably should have cost $1,000, and they know the difference now. And then now they want it. And they want that, and it's not, none of us are in the game of ripping anybody off, but you said it right. You have to be confident in your ability and what you can do, and what your time is worth. I mean, ultimately, all of us are offering a handmade product made of solid wood, made in the United States. If you were to go to any retail store in those three things, handmade, solid wood, made in the USA, you're going to pay a lot of money for that at any retail store. So you shouldn't doubt your ability to sell that on your own just because you're an individual. I mean, that needs to be, you got to be able to do that. So,
yeah.
And what you were kind of going off of there, Jeremy, about making contacts, that was actually going to be my little tip is don't be afraid to make contacts. Even cabinet places, dedicated cabinet shops. Yeah. You can go there and make a good contact or a friend with that business. And most of the time, there will be times whenever they don't have enough time to make a certain project for somebody. Like somebody will come hunt them out and say, I need you to do this and this and this. And it's like, well, we're kind of backed up right now, but let me tell you, I do know somebody that could probably take your business. And they would have your information and send them your way. I mean, contacts are everything.
Yeah.
And so you can't be afraid to think that you're stealing business or they're stealing business from you or they're in competition with you. I mean, it has nothing to do with that whatsoever.
No,
you're exactly right. I mean, one thing that I tell everyone, and this is my mantra, and I've said it on other places. but I mean, there's three things in life. There's good, fast, and cheap, right? And no one gets all three. Anyone can have two of those. But no one gets good, fast, and cheap. If you want good and fast, it's not going to be cheap. If you want good and cheap, it's not going to be fast. If you want fast and cheap, it's not going to be good. I mean, and that's the way it goes. I mean, and you have to value yourself and your product enough to be able to say, hey, look, tell me what your budget is, tell me what your deadline is, and tell me what the quality level you're expecting is. And I try to make good quality everything. But I mean, if I do offer different levels. If someone wants a mortise and tenon, table, that costs more than a pocket hole table. And I'm not railing on pocket holes. I'm not even getting into that debate. I use pocket holes all the time. I do, and I use mortise and tenon joints. I mostly use floating tenon joints. I don't have a domino, but I use different systems. I'll use the Dowling jigs or Beadlock Pro or something like that, where because I don't have a domino. It's not. I'm not against it. I just don't have one. But it's one of those things where different joinery methods take more time, and time is money. And we've said that before. So I can totally produce a pocket hole table with plugged holes a lot faster than I can. Let's say a higher quality piece in that regard. Now pocket holes are strong and the joint is strong, and I get all that. I do. But so I do offer different price points for different levels of tables. And I think that people appreciate that, because by doing that, I'm able to meet more people at their budgetary, at their level, than saying, oh, I don't do that. Because
I can't do. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't want to come across ever as condescending. I'm not one of those I'm not one of those woodworkers who's like, oh, I don't do that. I don't. That's the only thing I don't do. I won't, because I live in Georgia and it's really humid here. I won't make someone a table out of pine, or a tabletop anyway out of pine, just because it's gonna move in Georgia. The humidity is crazy here. So it's so. That's pretty much my only stipulation, but it's not a snobbery thing. I just don't want to be making that tabletop in a year. So
yeah, definitely.
Yep.
I definitely agree with making contacts, because with my business also having the interior design side of it, meeting a lot of the interior designers. But I met one interior designer that then had a client. With being in Virginia, there's a lot of surrounding states that had a client in a different state. And then she also then had her stuff being made in a different state, her handmade stuff. And it was actually someone on Instagram who saw that I live in Virginia and I, am I have a business and whatnot. So he referred me to her, and now me and her have a great working relationship. And I'm so thankful that he recommended her just to switch over to me, because it's easier. They don't have to do the shipping and, driving and delivering. And then if I can help another worker, maybe someone says, oh, I live in Georgia and I really want a shelf. How much would it be to ship here? Well, it'd just be easier to be like, why don't you I have a friend in Georgia. He makes great stuff. I'm going to send you his contact information.
Yeah, and I agree. Because shipping is so cost prohibitive. It really is, especially for big items. It really is. It's a deal breaker.
So. It is, because it's outrageous. Yep. So I definitely think by contacts in your area, but then also I've had people ask me for different pieces. So I think also reaching out to other people that you've met on Instagram that do the same thing is also great. So any way you can help a client, they're going to be really appreciative and think that you're really professional, because you're not trying to be competitive with another person that's trying to do the same thing. So.
Absolutely agree. And it does come across that way. It really, even though it seems intuitive, the initial thought is, oh, I can't recommend anyone else. It actually comes across more genuine and more honest, which is what you want for business. You want to come across as honest in every single way, because people are going to trust that. So if you can recommend, if you say, hey, I can't do this on your deadline, or I'm booked up till then, but you want it by Thanksgiving, let me recommend, I know a guy who can make this for you. They do fantastic work. I would have their furniture in my house. They love that. People love that kind of transparency. They do. So,
and you're honest, and you're talking like a friend, not someone, so I definitely think that's good. So great. Good talk, guys. Great talk. Pat on the back.
That's right.
And thanks for the PayPal chip reader thingy. That's just awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's in my cart, so definitely will be buying it.
It was all I chose it specifically because it had such high reviews on Amazon. It was when I read the reviews, I was like, okay, why wouldn't I go with this one? So thank you to all the Amazon reviewers who did all the research.
Well, bye-bye Square.
You're seriously.
Better place.
Yeah.
Bye-bye Square.
And apparently you need to go buy the fast rapid charger as well. So
yes.
If it's going to be cold. Yeah, if it's going to be cold.
It's gonna be cold.
The first 2 days, it lasted all day. That third day, charged it up twice. So.
Yeah. Well, I did find it for 43, so hopefully all of you can find it for 43 as well.
I'm going to find it.
And, well, I sent you the link, Jeremy. I DM'd you to where I saw it. So
okay.
Hopefully you get it for 43 and not 89.
Yeah, same. So.
All right. Very cool. Well, this was an awesome topic. We appreciate all the feedback that you gave us, Jeremy. That's just awesome. Like I said, I've got mine in my cart as well, so I will be purchasing that exact same thing.
Well,
so why don't you go ahead and throw out your contact information, and we'll get this thing wrapped up.
Okay. I am primarily on Instagram at Jericho Home, Jericho_Home. A lot of people call it Homes. I don't build houses. I wish I did, but I don't. And but no, Jericho Home is where I'm at. I also have a Facebook page, Jericho Home, and then I also have a website which is under construction, JerichoHomeGeorgia.com. It currently redirects to my Facebook page because it's under. I expect that it will be operational inside of 2 weeks, but that's my contact info. So
very cool. So if you want to get in contact with Jeremy, Sam, or myself, you can go to our respected websites, which is samryandesigns.com, countrysideworkshop.com, and rhwoodshop.com. Find the contact section. It'll give you information about all our social media, and you can send us anything that you would like through email in respect to that. You can also find some of the questions that you might send to our websites. We will bring those to the podcast as well to get some better insight from all 4 or 3 of us, depending on who's on at that time. If you want to leave us a voicemail for the podcast, you can call 409-234-3959. Or you can use the voice memo app that is on your phone and send us an email through kickback@woodshop101podcast.com. Or if you just want to simply drop us a line. We just can't get enough of any feedback or voicemails or anything that you guys send to us. It just makes the show that much more enjoyable, and the banter back and forth is just really cool. So we want to thank Mr. Hill for being on the show with us twice. We appreciate it very much. You've been a blast to talk to.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate being on here. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
So, yeah. So from Jeremy, Sam, and myself, we want to wish you guys well. Please be safe in your shops, and we will talk to you on the next podcast episode. So 1, 2, 3. Boom!